Well, hello to everyone out there in the Matrix. I'm going to do a tarot card reading, and it is going to be about the coronavirus and see what will come through on the cards relating to this alleged coronavirus. So, I've already shuffled the cards. I put my query into it, asking the cards about um, what exactly is going on, what is the truth behind the coronavirus, and we'll see what the cards have to say. So the first card is death. This is the death card, the first one. I shuffled these cards really good when I was doing my query. So this card is coming through as, let's see if I can get my head all in this. Probably should cover up my face, right? Make this better. This death card does not necessarily signify the death of a human being. It This is like the death of normalities and of the way we used to go about daily life in this world. It's the death of old ways. Hey, Snuff, good morning. I want to point something out about this card here because depending on the reading, it means different things. And I would like to point out about this card. Do you see the figure with that is in front of the horse of death and the hat that he is wearing? This, and I'm not trying to offend any Catholics or any other religion. This is not the intention here. However, the Pope wears this same hat. This hat, it symbolizes the fish. I have said this in other videos, in other readings. This goes back to the ancient worship of the god uh, um, Godad, I believe is the name of that fish god. It has to do with water. I hope I have the name of that god right, Godad. But anyways, do you see how that th- this man in this hat, which coming through this card is representing the Pope, is basically in a submissive stance to death? I'm just going to point that out with this card. Um, there is death happening with this coronavirus, but what is primarily coming through in this card is that this is death. This is death of life that we have become accustomed to. I'm going to pull another card here. The next one, The Queen of Swords comes up a lot, comes up a lot. Um, you can't help but notice the corona on top of this figure's head, as most people would, if they have done any research, already know that the crown that the Queen in Britain and many royalties around the world, they will wear these crowns. This is a corona. See if there's something else in that. There's a lot, like a lot of smoke coming through this card. I'm not really exactly sure what that is indicating, but a lot of smoke. It's kind of confusing. I'm not sure exactly what that is saying. The next card I have is the Ace of Cups. And there is a lot of inversion happening here. It is my understanding through decades of research about these entities that control this reality, they do everything by inversion. This very interesting card as far as it a cup is, as I mention often, can represent bounty, and it is actually considering a dove and what that can represent. And if you can see this, if it focuses in the dove, and some of you may know what that represents, and the dove is holding a cross that is going into the cup, but it is spilling out. And the hand that is holding this, to me, is it's coming from other places. This is not a whatever this power is from another place, another place. I'm having a hard time getting that out, but it is holding that. It is in control of that. And actually, the dove often, y'all, in Christianity will symbolize Jesus Christ as other things do. A fish can also symbolize that, but so can a dove. And not to mention that there is a cross in there, but a cross also can mean different things that has nothing to do with Christianity. So we have the next card is the Fool card. And this card, when I have been doing these recent live streams relating to what is going on in the world currently, this card comes up over and over. Sometimes this can mean carefree, on an adventure, and all of that. That's not what's coming through in my readings with this particular card. Again, like the reading from recently, we are being played as a fool. And you cannot help but notice at the top of the card the sun and the corona that is obviously visible in this card. This this coronavirus is not what we think it is. We would think of this coronavirus as probably being biological in nature, but it is more than that. This was a this was an experiment, and it is not biological in nature. It is artificial, and you can put many labels on this: nanotechnology, AI, but there's a problem. There is a problem with this. Something didn't actually go according to plan with this artificial virus the way that they had intended it to, which I think it was intended to be much, much more destructive to human life than it has turned out to be, and that it is actually it has malfunctioned, or it is not achieving the goal that it originally was destined to do. And however, as it being the full card, we are still being told that this is some enormous um, pandemic. And I'll just say with this card, it's only the fourth card. It's not going to be a long reading, hopefully, but I would encourage people, because we all jump onto mainstream media probably to find out what they're throwing at our particular state in whichever country we are, or whatever state in the United States we are. We search out mainstream media to see what they are saying. I would suggest, based on this card, that you do independent research of doctors that specialize in this particular area, like with viruses and this type of thing. Google it, and some have been recently posted. If you can still find them, I haven't looked for them today. I haven't actually looked for them at all. These specialists in this field totally contradict what mainstream media is saying. And if you go into Europe and find out that going back, what is it now, to March 20th or March 24th, do your own research, but they actually downgraded that virus. And another thing about this is that every single person has the coronavirus. You all have it. It's so broad. There are so many types of viruses that fall under a coronavirus. You did notice that they put a particular name on this, COVID-19. However, do your own research with these specialists in these fields and what they are saying. It does not fit the narrative. I'm going to go ahead and pull another card here. So this is the Two of Wands. It's focusing in. So this figure is holding a globe, which could pertain to the earth. Personally, I don't believe the earth is a globe, but whatever. That's not what this reading is about. But he's holding that in his hand, and It's the magic relating to a wand, the magic that they are putting through the airwaves via Wi Fi, mainstream media, the radio, word of mouth, all of that. They've got a grip, and they are continuing with this agenda that they have in place. It's actually coming through in this card here, even though in another card here it is saying that this virus, this COVID 19, that they classified under the broad spectrum of coronavirus, um, isn't biological. It is, for the lack of a better way of saying it, it was AI, but it something malfunctioned. It did not actually, the plan didn't go according to plan. But however, this card here is showing that they are continuing with the narrative. And if you turned on the news today, you know, um, this card here actually came up yesterday too. And y'all, I shuffle these cards really good before, as I'm doing putting my query into the cards. The Devil card, and as you can see, the figures below are chained, they're in bondage. You know, it is coming through here to me that this narrative that they're putting through with regards to this COVID 19 virus, it is working on the majority of people. I mean, people are I mean, if you go out and you unfortunately have to go to the supermarket or something, you see this, and it is, people are, and that's where you see the figures, they're in bondage, they're chained, they are, many people are buying into the narrative, obviously, because we are actively, most people are actively doing exactly as the official narrative is telling us to do: self isolate, stay home, don't go to work. So, what they, that is working, and it's very effective. And it is continuing to work, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Some of these cards come up over and over, and I shuffle these cards like mad. I don't know. This is the Queen of Wands. She actually came up yesterday in, when I was doing a reading. I believe it was on Bob Dylan. Uh, this piqued my interest yesterday with the black cat. And I actually mentioned that in the live stream yesterday. There's something, I'm getting the feeling that this is somehow going back to ancient Egypt. It is like going back to ancient Egypt, because they had this fondness with cats. I I would say it, something to do with ancient Egypt, and I don't know if this is the manipulation part of the narrative that they're putting out, Well, I there is this is like two-faced. It is, if you can check this out, if you're this focuses in, do you see the throne she's sitting on and the two faces on each side? It's almost like what they are telling us through the mainstream media propaganda. This is it's two-faced. It is essentially not accurate information, intentionally deceptive information. So this is the Five of Cups, and three of the cups are knocked over. And as I had mentioned, um, this this virus thing that they unleashed on the world is not going as planned. I think that they had planned to make this much more destructive than it has actually taken place. Something did not go right with that, and it did something didn't go right as far as that artificial type virus. However, they are still moving forward with their plan. Page of Cups. You'd think I didn't shuffle these cards, but I did. This one came up yesterday too. It's a messenger card. Um, well, this page being the messenger and this cup has something in it. Is this card is saying that, and as I had mentioned in another card, this message that they are continuously in a loop, repeating over and over and over about what is going on globally. This is effective on their part, and so many people um, are falling for it, for the lack of a better way to say it. Um, Looking for a crossing card just to see on that one. So out of curiosity, hmm. So I skipped four cards, which happens to be my lucky one of my lucky numbers. Into the next card is actually the Tower card. This card, the Tower card, is one of the most feared cards in the tarot deck, the Rider Waite tarot deck. There is anybody that would know my tarot card readings. I don't pull any punches with this stuff. I just say what I see that's coming through the cards, and call me Mr. Doom and Gloom, but I just say what I'm seeing coming through the cards. This is this what is transpiring now globally is not good for humanity. This is not good for humanity. And looking at this card, and I mentioned this also in the beginning of this reading with these cards, this is this is coming from another place. There are cronies here that are fulfilling this plan, this agenda, or whatever, but this is coming from somewhere else. It is this this force that has started this and is somewhere else. It is not here, so to speak, in our world, in our reality. This is coming from somewhere else. And it, y'all, I wish, what can I say? I'm Mr. Doom and Gloom. This card is the most feared card in the deck, the tarot card deck, the Rider Waite. I don't see anything good coming from this, and people are already paranoid. People are on edge. They already have anxiety. There are many things going on emotionally with people, and I'm not trying to make anyone uh, any more paranoid than they already are or have anxiety. This is more of trying to, based on what I see and take it with a grain of salt, is that we as a human civilization are in for some very, very rough times ahead. And that card showing death, but y'all, it is not coming through this card that this death is related to COVID 19. It is death that is many various ways, but it is not from COVID 19. Pull another card here. This is the King of Swords. This, whatever this force is that is in another place, another frequency, another place. It is not here, but it has agents here that is working for it. This force is in control now, and its presence is present, but in a way that it is working through powerful individuals that are actually here, if that makes sense. But make no mistake about it, whatever this dark force is, it is here. It's definitely here. And the swords indicating that this is they're ready to do battle. They're ready to do battle. In my opinion, I think that the battle has already started. Okay. This next card is the Star card. This is not necessarily a bad card. Um, it actually plays into the rest of this reading. Um, what keeps coming through this reading pertaining to this virus that they have called COVID 19, the corona. When I keep mentioning these other cards are saying that it is that this force is somewhere else. This is where the star card comes in, but I want to be careful to say that this does not mean that it is like that there are aliens flying in spaceships through outer space and coming from other stars. This is symbolic that it is what I've been saying is that this dark force is coming from somewhere else. It is, and there is definitely something to do with water. You know, it's almost like in this through this card, and it's the star card. I'm not sure what's up with this coming through, but it's almost like what is in the water, which I'm getting as our oceans, what is in our oceans is going to be on our land, on the land. And it is like being, I'm trying to figure out if that is like the water actually is coming onto the land or if it is, there is something in our oceans that is going to be coming onto the land. I'm going to pull a card on that. And this is the Seven of Pentacles. Do that as a crossing card. So this is influencing. So I don't know, Pentacles, it is money, it's finance. Hmm, not too many people involved in that card. Now, this next card is the Judgment card. This card always, over the years, this card has always, uh, I don't know, it brings up emotions. I'm not sure because I'm not overly religious in an organized religious type way, but um, there's there is a call being there is a call being put out for helpers, and these helpers are these helpers have already passed. They've been here physically in this reality, but they have already passed, but they are being called back for what is transpiring globally now. If you take a look at this card, you might see what I'm talking about. Now, depending on the reading, a card can mean different things. This pertains just to this reading that I'm doing now, but this card is saying to me that there is a call being put out for people that, not people, but spirits, entities that have already been here and been through this and are being called back and are being called back to assist in what we have going on now, this force that certainly has control over humanity at this time. I think I'm going to make this the last card because it's going on 37 minutes. This is the Chariot card. Well, you know, I'll unfortunately ending this reading on a note like this. There, there there is a war, a battle going on between different factions, a couple of different groups or something. There is definitely a war that we are not necessarily hearing about, and it has nothing to do with COVID 19. This is a war of a spiritual type nature, and again, I'll say it again, it has nothing to do with the coronavirus, COVID 19. This is more waging a battle to I'm getting subservient, making people submissive, subservient. There's a lot of domination coming through in this card where these dueling opposing forces are dueling it out, and the one side is trying to keep them from fully implementing this plan, this death grip that they have on humanity, and it is definitely there. It's yeah, you know what? That last card, the Chariot card, I would just say that from what I'm seeing through that card, this this battle that is going on, nothing to do with COVID-19, the coronavirus. This is spiritual in nature, and the spiritual part of it is that it is coming from outside. It's from another place. Both of them, they it's, for the lack of a better way of saying it, the good and the bad. But this is coming from somewhere else, and it's going to be a big battle, y'all. This is um, I I try not to put my own intuition into a reading and all of that. Um, it I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to explain. I Unfortunately, I don't see this having an easy way out. I don't see that happening. I could do another reading tomorrow and see something totally different. However, I won't be doing another reading tomorrow, and it won't be probably for a long time. But I don't see an easy way out of this. Um, what they have already set in place right now for humanity, lockdowns. Look at the thumbnail on this video. They will give us the impression this is what, because this is not going to stop. We may be told in a month or 2 months after everybody's lives are completely financially destroyed or something that this changes, but they may roll back a few things, but many things will stay in place. And I'm getting this example of the way it was after 9/11, and I'll just throw this example out so maybe it'll help you to understand what I'm saying with this card. After 9/11, when you went into airports, you had to take your shoes off in 2001 to 2002. You had to take your shoes off in an airport. Well, y'all, we're in 2020, and when you go into an airport, you still have to take your shoes off. This is what I'm getting at about that. They're going to give us the illusion that they have rolled all this stuff back, but in reality, they may roll a few minor things that would be of no significance back, but the bulk of the control is going to remain in place. And next time you're in one of those super mega souping shopping centers and you see that the plastic sticky things that are telling you to remain 6 feet apart, be interesting to see how soon those disappear after they give the all clear sign. But what has happened here is this is, for the most part, here to stay. They may tell us that they have rolled back on certain restrictions and all that, when in reality, they have already put people into so much fear and panic. They have planted this into people's subconscious, and I'm not so sure that it is this social distancing thing is going to really go away. And a reason for that would be, in my opinion, and I'm going on my opinion now. As an example, when all these major corporations many years ago were getting everyone to go paperless and having your bills sent to you through an email and promoting this as being a convenience for you. The part that they were not telling you is that it is saving them on their overhead cost of doing business, such as electricity, printer ink, paper, postage. So, this is an example that I'm getting at with this, what they have now with the social distancing. We, in our local media, they are working from home. They are doing the newscast with the talking heads from their homes. So, this also is a way for the mega corporations to cut down on the cost of doing business because they let people do their job from home. This is what we've been hearing in mainstream media, and make no mistake about it. There is a reason they keep repeating this over and over and over for your, to work at home from home if you can. Think about it. Think about the cost of doing business for a corporation. If everybody's working from home and still getting the same job done, their cost of doing business goes down. No real need for studios, so you're not renting space in a skyscraper for a studio. It just is, it is a way. You know what, it is so layered. When you look at all of this, it is so incredibly layered. And it always, from what I can see, and if you take the little bit that I mentioned about the cost of doing business for these corporations, and they all did it, the utility companies, everything, go paperless. It's good for the environment, it's convenient for you. But they didn't tell you the other part of it: the postage, the ink, the paper, the electricity, the manpower. I mean, they simply send you an email. And so, when you take that into consideration, this is what we have going. That what happened a decade or so ago when everything was going paperless, that was nothing compared to what we see happening now with the working at home, doing your job while you're at home. So, anyways, 49 minutes. I am probably going to end this very quickly. Um, right on, snuff tea. Way more than we can see with two eyes. I think that people need to meditate and see with one eye, really, to see what's going on. But anyways, thank you for the ones that stopped in, popped in, and I hope everybody stays safe, and please have a great day. I am ending this transmission.